another video. This is the Football Connect Big Match Review special because we are celebrating 267 goals for Harry Kane, which he has beat Sir Jimmy Reeves, and also celebrating 200 goals in the Premier League for Harry Kane, just 8 goals away from reaching Rooney's record, and maybe around 60 goals just from to match Alan Shearer's record. So there's still a long way to go, but we need to celebrate that. So yesterday Tottenham Hotspurs were playing against Manchester City. Well, everyone knows what happened the week before when Tottenham Hotspurs went to Manchester City. They were beaten by 4 goals to 2. But this is the problem with the first match. They were not playing like a team. The confidence was low. Everything was showing that there was something was wrong with them. But in this game, they showed more character, if you understand what I mean. Antonio Conte set his team up so well, and he just knew that he was not going to, he just made sure that he was not going to allow them to make those mistakes in front of the City strikers, and that was it. And also one thing I think that he did so well was to set up the four backs. I felt like Perisic dealt so well with Mirez, and as well as Emil Royal dealt so well with Grealish. I don't know if Emil Royal is increasing the way he plays because there's now a competition who can take over his jersey in a new striker or what. Because interesting part about this game is that Tottenham Hotspurs were never called in to even introduce their new signings in this game. They just played with their old team. Son was back at his level best. He was causing problems, running around, crossing and trying to cause problems. Kane as well doing what he does best, setting the balls, trying to attack. And I felt like, if to be honest, I felt like Højbjerg was actually Kulusevski was actually the player who was a little bit letting people down. The reason why I said that is because countless times he got chances where if he had cleared so early or if he had set it so early, they would have turned into goals. But sometimes he was holding the ball so much that City were able to take over and actually cause problems to them. Now let's talk about where these things went wrong. Of course, Tottenham Hotspur's team was not Chelsea. It was Lloris Go, Romero, Dyer, and who's that? Daniel, is it David, something like that? I don't know, Davis or something like that. You try, let me know. In the midfield, we had, of course, Royal, and we had Bentancur, we had Højbjerg, and we also had, who was the other guy who was in the midfield? We also had this guy, Perisic, but I think I'm forgetting somebody because I think it was a midfield four. Yeah, it was like that. And the Kulusevski, Kane, and Son were up front. So it was like that. It was a 3-4-3, something like that, if I'm saying it properly. Yeah, 3-4-3. But I'm still trying to get, I should understand who was the other one was in there that I forgot. Let me know in the comment section. Then also for the Citizen, now this was a bizarre lineup. I didn't know what was happening because Pep Guardiola put, of course, the goalkeeper Edison, and there was Akanji, Aki, and who was the other one? Was it Stones? Oh, it was Walker. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, trust Walker than the rest in the back. Then we had the midfield two of Lewis and Rodri were in the middle. Up front, that's when we had the craziness of Grealish, Bernardo Silva, this World Cup winner from Argentina as well. He was there. We also had Mirez. Then we had, who's the other guy? Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember what's the other one. Then up front with the Haaland. The setup in itself for me, it was a recipe for disaster. Kevin De Bruyne was not in the game. So it was a little bit confusing, but in terms of the way they were attacking, it seemed like they wanted to take advantage of the mid of the of the attacks from going from the wings and try to cross it in. But the difference was this: Tottenham Hotspurs were ready for this. They were ready to stop any people who were coming from this, which meant that it was a hard day for Jack Grealish and Mires going on the forwards. Even you can even go rewatch the game. There was a fight between Jack Grealish and the Emil Royale almost the whole entire match. They were tackling each other, and I think the ref handled the situation well, because if he had continued following the amount of times Jack Grealish was falling, I think one person was gonna get a red card. But I think they handled it so well. Yes, there was a red card at the end of the day, but it was in a different stance, and also it was because of Jack Grealish. So you can see what I'm talking about, because I think he was a thorn to this Tottenham Hotspurs. One thing that they did so well was for Perisic to actually kept Mahrez at bay, because Mahrez was the problem in the last fixture which they played at the Etihad, and in this ground they were able to keep them quiet. Now this is the interesting part. For the past 5 times Manchester City has played in the ground of Tottenham Hotspurs, they've failed to win. Every single time it's a defeat. You will actually be surprised that the draw that Tottenham Hotspurs had was actually the Etihad. But every single time whenever City comes to the Tottenham Hotspurs ground, oh, it always ends in a loss. That's why Expression was so confident about this game. If you go watch his video, he was so confident, and I think the team really repaired him, really repaired his belief on this game. It There is a problem. The reason why I said that there is a problem is because Pep Guardiola, he makes some crazy changes every single time when you're expecting to do something. I don't get what was the purpose of putting Kevin De Bruyne outside, because if you watch at the end of the game, the last 20 minutes, he was the man who was trying to make things move for Tottenham, for Manchester City. He was the guy who was trying to produce something. Grealish was just falling, but he was exactly the one who was trying to cause problems, crossing it in, doing as much as he could. Ilkay Gundogan was also on the bench, the man who was so influential in the win at the Etihad. You would really wonder exactly how does Pep Guardiola set up sometimes his team. Was he trying to use an element of surprise to try and disturb Tottenham Hotspurs? Maybe saying that if I put players that they were not preparing for, maybe I might win something. But it backfired. It didn't. It. So now the question is this: what happens next? Because now they had the chance to actually be within 2 points of Arsenal. They failed to win, so it means they're still stuck at the same level. And now I feel like the people who actually regret this game more is actually Arsenal, because if they're taking advantage of the game, they would be actually far away from City. Now, as we look at things right now, we are still trying to find out where exactly do this go, because the season is opening up. The teams at the front tops are starting to draw points, except of Man City, but except of Manchester United in the top four. It is the only team that won in the top four this week, because Arsenal lost, City lost, Newcastle drew. So you see a lot of teams in the top four are dropping, and which put Tottenham Hotspurs within 2 points of actually the top four, because they've now moved to 39, and Newcastle are actually is it 41 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So it is an open moment. The league is opening up, and the other teams from the bottom keep pushing, not Liverpool, things might actually happen. If Chelsea is able to pick up some form in the coming weeks, something might even happen, because you can see that as much as we can talk about Pep Guardiola and his citizen, the mentality, most are the ones who also cause problems. There is something shaky with the team. There is something that is happening, because I even said it before the game that there has never been any person in this world who has ever won the war outside when there's civil war within the team, because the rumors we are being told is this: Cancelo going out, it was because of the rift or the disagreement that he had with Pep Guardiola, and from the disagreement, him being sent or being shipped out to Bayern Munich, it has left so many City stars not happy with the decision. The likes of Kevin De Bruyne, maybe that's the reason he was not in the game. Ilkay Gundogan, also the reason why he was not in the game. Bernardo Silva, I think he's done with City. He's still there because of the contract issue, but all in all, what he wants to do, he just wants to walk away, doesn't want to come back to be a City player, and I hope it happens soon. Emerick Laporte also one player who is done with City. So you actually wonder exactly how far can this team actually continue sinking? Because if they continue fighting the way they are doing in the behind, then nothing can be produced going forward. Now I'll be standing here giving you my thoughts and telling you what's happening. I don't know. We'll find out what happens. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Click the like button, and I'll be back again with another one. This has been the Football Connect. I've been your host, Sam. We're out. Peace. Subscribe. It's important.